Today's topic of conversation is my preview for the 2018 Azerbaijan Grand Prix, round 4 of the 2018 season, and so far, what a season it's been. Started off not amazingly in Australia, but then Bahrain. Fantastic race, really was, right down to the wire, down to the last lap. We didn't have a clue who was going to win, but Sebastian Vettel won both of those races. Last time out in China, we were treated to what I think was the best race of the season so far, just topping Bahrain. One of the best races I've ever seen in terms of the Chinese Grand Prix. Daniel Ricciardo was the eventual winner of that one, and it's been a real topsy-turvy season. The first time in the hybrid era that Mercedes have not won 3 races in a row. So I don't mean, Mercedes haven't won 3 in a row. I mean 3 races have gone by without Mercedes winning. That is mad. Can they this weekend get back on their usual winning form, get back to their usual winning ways? Bottas, I think, has looked more comfortable in this Mercedes car than Hamilton in these early stages as well. But today we're going to be talking about the 2018 Azerbaijan Grand Prix, FP1, FP2, and some predictions for the weekend. We've also got Formula 2 this weekend kicking off. Lando Norris winning the feature race last time out, and Artem Markelov winning the sprint race back in Bahrain. That was the first round of the Formula 2 season, but we're here for the second round there, so I'll do predictions for that as well. But the main focus here, obviously, is Formula 1. And let's start off with practice 1 then. The big story coming from practice 1 was Max Verstappen crashing again. He's had a torrid season so far, nothing going his way. In Australia, he had that spin in the middle of the race. In Bahrain, he had that contact in qualifying, hitting the wall. Then in the race, hitting Lewis Hamilton and consequently losing out or just retiring on, I think it was just the second lap due to that damage. And then last time out in China, nearly making contact with Lewis Hamilton again around the outside of the long sweeping left-hander, and then eventually down at the hairpin, second to last corner, making contact with Sebastian Vettel. He also, as well, span off in practice in the Chinese Grand Prix weekend and nearly hit the wall there, and he's done it again. He's done it again. Practice 1 in the Bahrain Grand Prix. He's hit the wall. Max Verstappen cannot catch a break at the moment. Absolutely gutted for him, to be perfectly honest, because that car certainly looks capable this weekend and this season to be winning races. He should have won that race last weekend, or last race, sorry, in China. He should have. He was ahead of Ricciardo. He arguably is more aggressive than Ricciardo, so in theory he could have got past drivers quicker, although Ricciardo, master overtaker himself. But he didn't do it. He bottled it. He wasted his chance. He was a couple of cars ahead of Ricciardo as well. So he wasted a 1-2 for Red Bull, and Verstappen missed out on, what is it, his 3rd win of his career? His 4th win of his career? 5th win? He's going to be gutted, and this weekend he just needs a clean weekend, and he's not had it again. And he doesn't want to go into this downward spiral like the likes of Danny Kvyat, where things start to go wrong, and rather than being fixed, they just keep building and building and building, and eventually he could get demoted from that Red Bull team. I don't see it happening anytime soon, at least, but come the end of the season, if every weekend he's had an incident, then question marks will be asked. And this is the first street circuit of the season with close barriers. I mean, Albert Park is technically a street circuit, but if he survives it here, the rest of the weekend, that'll give him the confidence for the rest of the season, and then he'll be out of this little rut. But so far, not the best start for Max. But going through the timesheet, it was Valtteri Bottas who was top of the first practice. Good job from there from Valtteri with a 1 minute 44.2. In second place, Daniel Ricciardo, only 0.035 seconds behind Bottas. So it looks to be shaping out like it's going to be a very, very close weekend. In third place, though, we've got to jump back 0.8 of a second. I mean, that is monstrous. Bottas's time, 1:44.2. Third place man Sergio Perez's time, 1:45.0. But that is monstrous. I can't believe that. That is absolutely ridiculous. But Perez, P3. And Ocon, P5 while we're there. That's solid from Force India. This is a track where, in the past, they've looked great. The first season, Perez getting that podium, the first season this race was taken. Fantastic job from Perez that weekend. And last year, arguably, Force India could have had their first win in Formula 1 if Ocon and Perez didn't have contact. So it's a track they have always done well on. Practice 1 isn't always the best to go by. The Mercedes engine, having looked at comparisons from China, doesn't seem to be as quick as the Ferrari engine in straight line speed. So, question marks over whether Force India can deliver this weekend. They obviously would love to. And they need to get their season kick-started now. Sergio Perez is still on 0 points. Marcus Ericsson is on 3. Or 2. One of them. 2, I'm pretty sure. That is ridiculous. Perez is arguably one of the more veteran drivers on the grid. But he is one of the best. You know, I'd probably consider him in that B sort of grade sort of a driver. I know that's probably going to have a bit of hate come towards me for that. But he has been a bit irrational at times, but he's definitely a driver who, 3 races in, you'd have expected to score a point. And Force India, they've not looked good this season, so they will want to bounce back this weekend. And P4 was driver number 44, Lewis Hamilton. Like I said, Ocon was in P5. P6, Max Verstappen, who had that late crash, so he only completed 11 laps. P7, Fernando Alonso. Pretty good job from Fernando, that Renault engine, but still not as high as the 2 Red Bull drivers. P8, Sergey Sirotkin in the Williams. This is a track they need to deliver on. Obviously, last year, getting their only podium of the season with Lance Stroll. P3, very fluky weekend. I think we all know what a fantastic race it was last season. And if you haven't seen it, I beg you just to go and check the highlights on the F1 channel. Absolutely monstrous. I might just do it after this, after recording this anyway. It was so good of a weekend that was. And Sirotkin, P8, that'll give him a confidence boost. Lance Stroll, P11. So Williams, just like Force India, showing good pace in FP1. P9, Pierre Gasly, good job from him. Not the best weekend in China, making contact with his teammate and out in Q1. So he'll want to bounce back this weekend for sure. P10, Sebastian Vettel in the Ferrari. I know in FP2 as well, he was even lower than that, not planning out to be the weekend Sebastian Vettel needed after a disappointing result in China after what really couldn't and should have been 3 wins in a row. P11, Lance Stroll, like I said. P12, Brendan Hartley. P13, the lead Renault, Nico Hülkenberg. He only did 11 laps, and his teammate, Carlos Sainz, also only did 11. So very limited running for Renault. Not the best showing from them. P14, and the lead Haas, Romain Grosjean. Not the best start to the weekend for them. P15, Raikkonen. Ferrari seem to be struggling, same as Renault and Haas. Those teams not doing particularly well in the early stages of this weekend. P16, Leclerc. Good job from him getting up in P16. P17, Ericsson. P18, Kevin Magnussen. P19, Van Dorn. And P20, Carlos Sainz. That is ridiculous. Looking from 10th place to 20th place, you've got the 2 Ferraris, the 2 Renaults, the 2 Haas cars, a McLaren. Why is that? That is so weird to see, and that really just did sum up what a strange session FP1 was, and that generally was because of the incident caused by Max Verstappen. People had to stop their laps and session, obviously with the yellow flags. People had to slow down, and so arguably that could be a reason why. But if we look at FP2 now, things do change around a little bit. Most notably, Ricciardo topping the times. Bet he's loving that. He's really on a high at the moment after China, especially after Bahrain, that DNF. That bounce back in China was monstrous, and I think he'll carry this form for the next couple of races. P2, Kimi Raikkonen, only 69 thousandths off Ricciardo, so that's a good bounce back from Kimi. P3, Max Verstappen, a clean run-in second practice. He was only 1/10 away from Ricciardo, and it's quite interesting actually that the Red Bulls seem to be the team to beat this weekend. And coming into this weekend, we all expected, you know, Mercedes and Ferrari to be dominant because of their straight line speed. But Red Bull, in the early stages, seemed to have this track on lockdown. P4 Bottas was 7/10 away from Ricciardo. But the times, FP1 the fastest time was a 1:44. FP2, Ricciardo's fastest time, a 1:42. So those times are tumbling. And the highest laps completed, I believe, in FP1 was 23. But in FP2, we've got the majority of the drivers in the 30s. The highest, Pierre Gasly, with 39 laps completed. So, food for thought. So, Mercedes P4 and 5 with Hamilton P5, again behind Bottas. P6, Fernando Alonso, so he's up there this weekend. So, the Renault engine looking solid at the moment. P7, Esteban Ocon. So, Force India as well. They seem to have some genuine pace this weekend. P8, Carlos Sainz. So, a lot of the drivers flipping around their FP2 from their FP1. P9, Kevin Magnussen, same. Poor FP1, great FP2. Same with Nico Hülkenberg in P10. And P11, Sebastian Vettel. What is happening? Is this just some sort of, I don't want to call it sandbagging, but are they just hiding their pace a little bit just for later on, FP3 and in qualifying? I don't think they do it to this extent. Maybe they would. It just baffles me where they have been in the first two practices. Very strange indeed. P12, Sergio Perez. P13, Romain Grosjean. P14, Lance Stroll. 15th, Pierre Gasly. 16th for the second session in a row, Charles Leclerc. P17, Sergey Sirotkin. So Williams don't look as bad as they have in previous races. That's good for them. That's positive news for Williams, but it's still not ideal from where they would want to be. P18, Brendan Hartley. P19 again, Stoffel Van Dorn. Why is he so far off the pace this weekend? Bit baffling, to be perfectly honest with you. As you can tell, I'm a bit confused in my voice, but I don't know why Stoffel's so far down. Did a fair amount of laps as well, 29 in second practice, so question marks over that. And rounding out the second practice, only 9 laps completed, was Marcus Ericsson. So, it's shaping up to be a very interesting weekend here in Baku, and in my opinion, each race this season has got better and better. Can Azerbaijan do that again? Will it be the best race of the season 2 years in a row? It's shaping up to look like a great race. And it's time for predictions. This is always my favourite part of the show, because I don't think I've got a single prediction correct this year for the winner of a race. I don't think many people have, to be perfectly honest with you, and I don't think anyone predicted a Daniel Ricciardo win last time out in China. So, what I do on this show is do a top 2 and then my podium finishes. So, do I think it's going to be a carnage race? I hope so. Fingers crossed that it'll be a carnage race. But qualifying, you know what? If you look at practice, you would put your money on the Red Bulls. You really would. I'm unsure if they can carry that through to qualifying. So, I'm going to predict a Kimi Raikkonen, second place, and a Valtteri Bottas, pole position. That's what I'm going to go with. Bottas pole, Raikkonen second. Raikkonen to qualify second for the 4th race in a row. Every race this season, he has qualified P2. So I think let's keep that up again, and then let's do a race top 5. Your winner, my prediction, once again, if you're new around here, which loads of you guys are at the moment, you're all flooding in. Thank you very much. If this is your first preview, hopefully it's not too chaotic for you. But if you're new around here, you might not know that I don't like to be the most basic with predictions, alright? I don't want to say be boring with predictions, but I like to push the boat out there a little bit. And, of course, it's going to be the same this weekend. My winner for the 2018 Azerbaijan Grand Prix is going to be Max Verstappen. Yes, I've guessed it. He's had a torrid season so far. I reckon he can turn it around this weekend. It's not, like I said earlier, it's not been a good start, but I've just got that hunch that he's frustrated with himself, but he'll want this win. And I think he will be up there in qualifying, you know. When I say up there, I think the pace between the top 3 teams, Mercedes, Ferrari and Red Bull, will be very close. But I think there could be carnage, like I say, and I just have that a gut instinct that Verstappen might just get lucky with a safety car, might just get lucky with strategy, and he is probably the most ballsy guy with overtakes along with Ricciardo. So Verstappen is my winner. P2, Lewis Hamilton, which, yeah, I haven't mentioned him much yet this weekend and in this preview, but P2, Lewis Hamilton. P3, Nico Hülkenberg. Do I do it? Oh, I'm teasing it. I've been thinking about this all week, and Hülkenberg has been on solid form for all this season, and we've never had someone get more than one podium in Azerbaijan, and that would still be the case with that. Yeah, let's go with that. Verstappen P1, Hamilton P2, and Nico Hülkenberg P3. That is pretty ballsy prediction, but that's what I'm going to go with. Yeah, I'm already questioning it, but I'll stick with it. I'm going to sort of pray for a carnage race, and if we can get that prediction off, that'd be lovely. P4, Sebastian Vettel. P5, Daniel Ricciardo. I think there could be some fireworks between the two Finns that I've predicted for pole and second place. I think they could get... I don't think Bottas would, most likely, but Raikkonen could get screwed over by a strategy with Sebastian again. Which would be annoying to see, but it could happen. And Bottas, like I say, I think there could be fireworks between the two Finns. Very difficult, obviously, to predict these sort of things, but that's what I've gone with. I'm already regretting it, but I've said it, and I don't want to take it back. So, who knows, come Sunday, I might be spreading the word about my prediction, or I might just forget it like I have the rest of them. So, yeah, not made it easy for myself. I'd love to know your predictions. Hopefully they're not as outlandish as mine. I'm even regretting some of them, but hey-ho. Just a bit of fun. So, before we go, just want to tell you about Formula 2. Lando Norris smashing it at the moment, with Artem Markelov, the Russian, driving for Russian time, smashing it as well. Those two seem to be the favourites for the championship, but in Formula 2, after two races, you still don't have a clue who's going to be the world champion. After 10 races, you still don't have a clue. So it's an absolute madness series, and each weekend a driver can be absolutely on it, and the following, nowhere near. Sergio Sirotkin, Lando Norris' teammate, also looked solid in the first weekend. So, my predictions for Formula 2, the feature race, I'm going to go with a win for George Russell. I'm going to go for the win for the feature race. And for the sprint race, I'm going to go for a win for Lando Norris. Just a quick prediction there. So if any of you are Formula 2 fans, I want to know your predictions for that. And your Formula 1 fans, of course I want to know your prediction for the Formula 1. That's what makes this channel decent. That's what makes it fun. Interacting with you guys. Talking about who you think is going to be winning. How retarded and daft my opinions are is always fun to hear. But guys, hopefully you've enjoyed today's video about the preview for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Fingers crossed it's another brilliant race. Hopefully not like the first ever Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Hopefully like last year's race. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you could like and subscribe, that would mean the world to me. And that notification bell does help so much. The YouTube system, it's a bit broken. I think we can all pretty much agree with that a little bit. And I have really noticed that on some particular videos. And yes, you know, you could say they're trash. And I wouldn't disagree with you. But sometimes you do look at the figures and they're a bit messed up. So I don't want to moan. I do love YouTube, and they've given me this opportunity, but you guys have been smashing it. So thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, thank you once again. And I'll see you in the next one.